Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. I'm doing card of the day for the first time in a couple of days. I'm using the Radleigh Valentine Angel deck here. It's giving me like three-dimensional portal. Oh, it's freaking me out. Okay. I'm gonna get a card in a second. I thought I was gonna start hacking and coughing on camera for a second there. Okay. I get a card. Trying to get this done before we get hurricane force winds up in here. It's trying to rain, but it's just kind of hanging there. These cards are as out of it as I am. Alright, let's get in here. Although I am rather pleased that they're not just flapping out all over the place. Card for the people. Let's get some cosmic energies here. I would say that the full moon there on the 3rd really kicked my ass. What day is it? It's only the 4th. Okay. Act like a full person tomorrow and get some stuff done. There we go. The Dreamer. So this is where the Fool would be in this deck. So we have Archangel Metatron. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities. Alright. There's a little dog here. Metatron is the archangel that's associated with Metatron's cube. It's like the three-dimensional expansion of the flower of life, to the point where all of the platonic solids can be dropped out of it. It has to do with the shape and structure of the universe and the sort of the way things manifest, and also the sort of consciousness feedback loop that exists within the universe. So it's sort of like the geometry of learning. Now this card, I don't know if you can see this elliptical portal here. It is sort of representative of the 0, but the 0 is like a 0 point as well. It's sort of, I mean, it's sort of an infinite loop, but it could also, it's like a Mobius strip. But also, it was like an egg where something is born, right? The new beginning, I just heard the Omega, so it's also the ending as well. Well, it's like, it should be a spiral, though, because, like, when you get back to the point, you sort of level up. It's like a place to spring off from, to say, oh, I remember this information now, and I can do something else with it. Follow your dreams. Okay? So that doesn't just mean what you want to do, it means like what information is coming up in your dreams. What are you healing? What is being brought into you to help you? So The Fool is Uranus energy. It's air element. It's sort of perceptual, but is under the auspices of the planet Uranus, which does have rings around it. I believe somewhere in the next couple of weeks, I want to say around the 15th, but I'm not sure because I looked it up recently, Uranus is going to go retrograde. So it's sort of like the feedback loop switch is going to be turned up to high. And it's like, I don't want to say like all your shit's going to be laid bare, but it's not quite like that. It's like anything that's been happening in your life up to now that hasn't been clear is going to be suddenly like laid out on one of those light tables for your slides, and you're going to see like blowed up in detail stuff that you haven't seen before. It's like cleaning the Sistine Chapel ceiling when it was all black from candle soot, and they found this like incredible beauty. So the bottom of the deck, 4 of fire inverted, Venus in Aries. Okay. So normally when it's upright, there's a dragon and an egg there. When it's upright, it's that like 1111 universal timing twin flame kind of number. It says contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, the successful completion of a project. But it's coming in inverted. I get the sense that the energy is going to make you feel like you lost. Like, I lost the game. I missed the serve. I didn't spike the ball. That kind of stuff. It's the idea of, like, I followed my dreams and it fell apart in my hands. But that's the thing, though. It's like, if you want something, but it isn't in line with your soul and doesn't provide any expansive information for you, then it's sort of not going to manifest, right? If you want something, like a job or a romantic interest or, a certain car, or you want certain shoes or whatever, if you want those things and just sort of like envision them, it's part of your dreams to be in a place where you're doing that. And it's useful to the expansion of your consciousness and thereby the universe. Those things are more likely to happen. So it's to say, it's not happening. I have nothing to stand on here. Everything I do turns into shit. I never seem to be able to master my own life. They're just kind of flailing around. It's this idea that listening to the information that the universe is trying to give you in the feedback, instead of just saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, why isn't this happening? It allows that new direction to open up to you. This is the successful completion of a project on here. And here it says unexpected opportunities, right? It's like previous projects not finished because the universe is cock blocking you, or you end up getting sick and you run out of energy, or you know, every time you're about to do something that you've always wanted to do, some emergency happens and you're all stressed out, or it sucks up all your money because you had to get a car, or, you know, pay for funeral expenses or something like that. Those things kind of push you in a certain direction, and it's a universe's way of giving you information when you're sort of horse blinders focused on only the thing that, like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, without any, like, regard to why you want it. So it's very much like an egg phase. It's like, as a soul, you're in this sort of stem cell phase, and you have the opportunity to be a liver or a foot or a brain cell, and it's kind of like, I don't know where to go. It's like, well, I want to do this, but and if you can't, like, if your information gives you the highest ability to learn and expand as a thumb, and you really want to be the liver, and you're like, no, I'm going to be the liver no matter what, you're going to end up being a tumor. You know, and that's why there's no foundation. It's like, I don't fit in here, but this is what I wanted. You know, and it's really a way of trying to corral you into achieving your highest potential. And it can feel kind of crappy while it's happening. You're like, I can't break through this shell, this glass ceiling. But the thing is, like, when you do finally, you know, listen to the feedback that the universe is giving you, it will help you, it'll sort of change the nature of your dreams, basically, and the way that things are manifesting for you. So in that way, it's like, this is Venus and Aries. It's not fair. Why am I not getting what I want? And a sort of background bullheaded Taurus energy of, I don't like it, I'm gonna beat my head against it. Like, give me. Why am I need to be satisfied? And also not fair that I'm not getting what I want. So with the Aries energy inverted, it's like, like anger, and also this sort of, like the Emperor inverted, it's like this sort of tyranny energy, but also sort of tantrum energy, where it's like, I have to have only this. But it's like, well, maybe you came preloaded with only this because there was something important to learn from gathering information about that subject, right? Like, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was 5, and that didn't happen. And I'm like, I'm wondering back, and I'm like, where did that come from? You know, because obviously my life hasn't ended not being, you know, crawling around on a rock face with a little brush and a chisel, hoping to find something before the weather turns bad and the funding runs out. I've gone in a completely different direction, but there's something about that obsession that's informed my understanding of like how we interact with other times and universes. So like if you're certain that you're gonna do you know, it's like I'm gonna be banking and finance because I want to make a lot of money, and everything you do to try to get there just kind of sucks. It's like, you know, like every time you put in an application to do some exam, it gets lost and the computer breaks down and the deadlines get missed and you never seem to do it. It's like, well, maybe you were supposed to learn all that information, but then what ends up really happening is that you take all that information and you bring it into some kind of like non-profit or like food bank or something like that. It's kind of a crappy example, but there's like different ways that paths that don't work out end up in our advantage. You know, like for what I'm doing now, um, like a geology degree wouldn't have been that helpful to me. And I always thought like, well, running out of options and being poor and um, you know, going to college where I got enough um, financial aid to limp along with my art degree, that didn't seem very useful. I'm like, this is probably bullshit. So partway through, I'm like, I better get a business minor in case I need to do something functional as an adult. Um, and I mean, basically, the business minor only taught me to be irritated when managers suck. That's basically all I learned. And a little bit about economics. And but the art degree has actually been quite useful because um, I was able to gain skills to do the work that I'm doing now, and it would be more difficult for me to express certain energy visions that I want to express if I didn't have those background skills from, you know, being in subjective art classes. But also with a liberal arts degree, I was able to pick and choose different subjects that I wanted to take. So even though it's not useful, I took zoology, I took a geology class, I took um, a geography of the Far East, I took art of the Far East because they don't teach Western people anything, you know, east of Greece. So it's sort of like an opportunity to readjust what you're doing um, and selectively expand your knowledge base of other things when you find out that what you've always wanted to do is no longer possible. You know, there was no funding for me to get a science degree. And I wasn't really that put out about it, but I just can't imagine how different my life would be if I had gone to, you know, a different college. And the whole point of college anyway wasn't really to get a degree and be in debt. It was to, you know, experience, you know, like a sort of stable, secure environment and, you know, be your own person and have that kind of responsibility and intense, like, condensed learning process. So for anyone who hasn't had that, it can be like on a smaller scale, it's like, well, I want to go get this job, and I interviewed for it, and I really needed the money so that I could, feed my kids, or go hunting, or whatever people do. And like it went really well, but then they picked somebody else, and it's like, now what am I gonna do? Well, it leads to this whole other thing. So it doesn't always feel great when it's happening, and we can be on these sort of side quests for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, and it can really suck. But I think this Uranus retrograde that's going to happen is really going to open up that like, it's basically like a life review that you would normally get when you're dead, but it's happening like midpoint or whatever. It's like a checkpoint. And the Uranus also rules Aquarius, and I think the full moon was in Aquarius, but I am not sure. So, but the point is, and I also get the idea of that Lionsgate on A8, because we have a factor of that. And then 0 is like an 8 if you untwist it. Right? It's like looking at the Mobius strip from a different angle. But the Aquarius with the Uranus energies is like communication innovation. It's like opening up the library. So it's like, not only will you be able to see where you've been more clearly and how it relates to what you're doing now, but like everything that sort of spreads out from that knowledge base, it's like, oh, this happened to you when you were little. Here's like 8 more information. That's like step 12, when you only at step 3 when that happened, and everything still sucked, because it's like, over here in the more advanced level, it actually is pretty good. And if you choose to step off from that information, then you can have it, It's like riding a bike. It's like, you still have the training wheels on, and you keep falling over and skinning your knee and broke your elbow and you hated it. But if you get to level 12 on the bike, you can be, mountain biking off ramps and make, $1 million. Not everybody, but I'm just saying that that's kind of a basic sample of certain things. It's like level 2, I had chickenpox and almost died. Level 12, discover a cheap new cure for cancer. Those kind of things. So it's like when you open up what's happened to you in that expansive, looking at it different direction, universal feedback loop, Uranus energy, turn it upside down, what does it mean? It really opens up that whole Akashic record, so that you can pull in what you need to turn this card right side up, and understand this sort of like core drive inside you that wants to do something specific, but will open up an avenue where you're not just constantly cock-blocked and upset about everything. Okay? So I've been going on for a long time about 1.5 cards, so I think that's going to be it. It's probably because I haven't done any readings in a couple of days, but I mean, like, even with this, ton of information just by reviewing what's there. If you want to get a personal reading, hit me up, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. If you can't find the complete lists of readings and how much they cost in the description box of the infomercial video, I'll just email me, I'll get it to you. That's that description box of the infomercial video. That's linked below this, so just click on that. If you want to donate to my channel, that's paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I have Cash App and Venmo. I'm at these other locations under these names. I have 2 coloring books and a poetry book on Amazon. Energy Forms, Draco Forms, Lantern. I have actual art items in my catalog. The link for that is with the other information. So that's it for now. Stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.